everyone, this is Sally with the Polka Dot Life. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Today we are going to be working with the Merriest Moments Stamp Set, but on the video I failed to mention that there are dies available. I just simply chose not to use them and I fussy cut my images, but there definitely are dies to match the poinsettias and the berries that you could use for your card. I just chose not to. But this is a massive set. In fact, it is part of what we call a hybrid embossing folder set, and we will be taking a look at that on another occasion. But I just wanted to point this out to you because if you're going to buy the stamp set, you can bundle it with this and save 10%. Let's flip the camera down and get started on today's project. I think you're going to like it. Once again, it is time for a color challenge card. The colors given to me by my leader this month, again, were Polished Pink, Mossy Meadow, and Mango Melody. I am going to be making my card today using the Merriest Moments Stamp Set. We have a basic white thick card base, and I've kind of cut this, some people refer to this as hot dog style, just something a little bit different. Just the way it stands is a little bit different. Same size though, and they can be interchanged. That's usually never an issue. If you prefer the other style, that is just fine. So we have our Mossy Meadow ink, and we are going to do our stamping on this first. And I'm doing this because you know if you have stamped for any amount of time, there's always a possibility, and with me it's a large possibility, that I will be stamping this crooked. And so before we go too far, we're just going to take care of it. You could also use your Stamparatus. This is a large greeting, so you could do that. I am just going to do it this way. And I know it's straight on my block because I used my grid paper. I just want to make sure it's really nice and inked up. I know it's straight on my block, so I'm going to kind of just line my block up with the sides of my card. And I have this little foam cushion down here because it is a photopolymer stamp. And that actually stamped quite nicely. We're going to move this out of the way. And I just grabbed a strip. You can use whatever scraps you have. Don't cut a large piece of paper if you don't need to. We are going to be making some poinsettias today. We're going to start with our largest poinsettia stamp, and we're going to make some leaves. And it's okay if they are kind of a variegated color of green. They're not exactly the same, and that makes visual interest when that happens. We don't want everything to be just cookie cutter like. And now we are going to our polished pink. I really like using this. I got the replacement pad for the Stamparatus that has the grids on it, so I just use this for my stamping, and I really like it. I went ahead and stamped a few extra of the larger size of the poinsettia. I won't need them for the front of the card, but I might use it on the inside and or the envelope. And now we're going to the smaller ones. And you don't want them so close that you can't cut them apart, but you don't want to waste your paper either. And see, I got that one a little too close, but it'll be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need 5 for the front of your card. And then if you're going to do any other decorating, I want one, I think for the inside maybe. So I'm going to just stamp one extra. And so now we have our Mango Melody. And I'm just going to stamp some berries in the Mango Melody. And that fills up a sheet of paper, so you do need quite a bit. But if you have scraps, it's a great way to use up some of your scraps. I am just going to fussy cut around some of these images, but this is what it means to fussy cut. You can leave a white outline. You cannot leave a white outline. I chose to on my card today because it's a white card base, and so it's just kind of a little forgiving on those leaves and so on with the white around it. So there. I am going to pause the video and I will be back whenever these are cut out. Okay, I have taken the time to cut all of these out, fussy cut them by hand. And to be honest, I even had some interruptions and it only took me like 20 minutes. So if you like to have something to do in the evenings, while you watch television or something, this is a good thing to stamp ahead of time. And then you can just spend a little bit of time cutting these apart. Well, that came right off with my finger. We'll try that again. And we'll take our backing off. I just decided I wanted to do a mini dimensional just so it, I just wanted to give it a little bit of depth and dimension. So that's what I did. And I'm just kind of variegating. Since these are both large ones, I kind of just wanted to make sure that I didn't have the same petal right on top of one another. Now I forgot to do it with this big one, but you might want to just take a bone folder and just kind of turn these leaves down a little bit and then just kind of push them up. You could, if you had a stylus with a larger ball on the end, you could certainly just lay it on this like foam mat and do circular motions and get that center, kind of make it, if you push the center down, it will pop the leaves up. But we're just going to do that. I did a small on top of a large, and the green are also the large. So let's go ahead and get the base parts done. Let them dry just a little bit. And we will put our mini dimensionals down. I'm going to move these off to the side because we're only going to do one larger flower, and then the smaller flowers are going to have these smaller leaves around them. And you can, again, just manipulate these through. And you'll need 2 small poinsettias for each one. And this is actually the medium size in the set. There is one smaller. If you wanted to really build them up, you could certainly do that. Okay, now I have these all glued, and in a perfect world, we would let these sit and dry between layers, but I didn't take time to do that while filming. So there is the green layer, then a mini dimensional, then on the large flower, you're going to have the large petals, and then you're going to glue a set of the small petals on top. Then you're going to have a dimensional, and then you're going to have the berries. And then on these ones, it's just the same. The leaf, the dimensional, pink, pink, dimensional, berry. So that's the same for those two. I am going to just let these dry for just a minute and I will be right back. Okay, I feel that these are dry enough for me to work with now. and I want to go ahead and adhere them to my card base. I've gone ahead and I've added just this layer inside of the polished pink and the basic white, just to give it another little perk of color. And I have some vellum circles. Now this one, I used this round die from the Tasteful Label dies is what I used this one. On my other example, I used this one from the scallop circles. So use what you have. It doesn't have to be the exact same shape. I just felt it needed a little something to kind of anchor it to the card. So that's what I used. And I do not like working with liquid adhesive with vellum. It just doesn't do well for me. It just doesn't appear to like it very well. So I am using the Seal Plus, and we are going to just adhere this part first. We're going to start with this one. Remember that whenever you do something to vellum, you can see it. So we just want to stay right in the center of our vellum circles. And I think, let's just kind of lay this other one because we are going to do something at the top here. And we don't want things to bump together. And I will say these circles are a little bit smaller than the ones I used on my original design. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. You just want to make sure before you adhere things down that you like the way that they space out. Now I am just going to, it's just easier rather than trying to do this to your flowers, to just go in and make some little passes to give yourself something to put your flowers on. One thing nice about the Seal Plus is like if that one went a little bit long, I can just kind of flop that over. That's one thing I really like about it. And it is a very strong adhesive, and so you shouldn't have any problem. Start with your large one. That is going to go here. And we're not going to press it down until we can actually take a good look at it. And then we're going to do the same right here. And the same right here. And now I'm going to pick it up. I felt pretty good about those, but I just wanted to see how this one, it just, you know, they're all going to be a little bit different, kind of like snowflakes. They're all a little bit different. And see, I feel like this one needs to come, you know, hang over this way a little bit more. Like I said, this is a smaller circle, so it may or may not all show out through your vellum of your large one. And you could pick it up and kind of recenter it a little bit. I don't think this one is quite completely dry, and you'll just have to monitor that. You may just have to take a layer off and re-glue it when you're finished, just to give it a little extra love. But I think that is good. Now I also have a piece of Mossy Meadow, and I have a piece of our DSP. And I'm going to do this one a little bit differently than even I did my first one. I just want to show you some things that you can do, but you don't have to do. Get those ridges out of there. And I actually am just going to run some tape runner right down the center. And these edges are going to go together flush on the ends. Now, I didn't glue this down yet. I just wanted to show you another option. I cut this green a little bit wider to see if I like it. I do think I like my other version better. But we're going to go ahead and just glue this down, but you'll get to see the differences, the subtle differences, things that take it from being maybe, this is definitely not a beginner card, but just steps it up a little bit. And I'm going to actually, I have to look at this a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna knock it on this, and we're gonna kind of tap it here, and these will come out over. I could have cut these off and made these shorter. So I want to show you, here's the original card. So you can do these a couple ways. Like I say, this is a bigger circle. This I embossed. I just took that little extra time and took that Tasteful Textures embossing folder and ran this pink portion, the polished pink one, through and before I adhered it. And this is cut smaller, and so it leaves a white gap at the top. You can decide which one of those that you'd like better. And then I did go ahead and take the time to decorate the inside of this as well. And I'm sure it does not show because it's even subtle enough here in my office with my lighting on it. It's kind of hard to see. I maybe need a second coat or a new pen, but I did use the Wink of Stella on my flower leaves, on the pink leaves only, and just to give them a little bit of sparkle. And so you probably can't see that difference here, but that is an added layer, an added detail that you can add to your card. So I love both of them. I still think I like this one better, and this is the one I think that I will submit for the challenge. But I love both versions of it. I don't mind that this is thicker through here. I actually like that one too. I don't know. I like them both. But that's the fun thing when you make your own Christmas cards. You can make them all the same. You can make them all a little bit different. It just is whatever you are feeling like doing that day. So I hope that you enjoyed this color challenge. I only made one card this time. I was just so happy with this, how it turned out. So I just didn't even go any further. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.